Hey everyone, how are we doing? So I had an idea of making a video based around my new device, which is the Galaxy S8. Now there's hundreds of videos online at the minute giving you spec showdowns and reviews and insight, and I just wanted to bring kind of an everyday user's view on the Galaxy S8. Now, as you can probably see in the title, I've previously been an iPhone user. I've been using the iPhone 7 Plus up until last week, and that has now changed, and I've changed to the Galaxy S8. So, where do I start? I suppose when I buy a smartphone, there's kind of like 5 key areas I kind of look for as a kind of general consumer. And I suppose it's easy if I just talk through those kind of 5 things and how they've kind of what the experience has been like on the S8 in comparison to the iPhone, and hopefully it may help a few of you making a decision out there if you're going to go out and then buy an S8 or an S8 Plus, or you're thinking about making the switch from iPhone to an Android device. So I suppose the first area I look for, same with pretty much anything, is design. So not to say that the iPhone is an ugly device, but as a previous iPhone user, it's kind of frustrating that they've used a similar design for the last kind of 3 years, and I know I for one kind of, like I said, it's not an ugly phone, but it's a definitely frustrating kind of effectively looking at the same phone year in, year out. Now, there's rumours that this year they're going to change that. There's rumours this year it's the 10th anniversary, they're going to do something big. But you know, looking at the current device and considering the iPhone 6 and the 6S were very, very similar, it kind of gets a little bit complacent. You know, again, just speaking as an everyday user. Now, the first thing you'll probably notice with either the Galaxy S8 or the S8 Plus is it is beautiful. I think even people who may not be fans of Android or may not even be fans of Samsung can't deny that it looks like a future device. Years and years ago, back when I was using Nokias and things like that, the phone of the future that I had in my head, if you like, was kind of like a futuristic Star Trek all kind of glass display. This is really close to that kind of image that I had in my head. It uses, I'll come on to the display as it's one of the areas that I'll talk about as well, but very close to that kind of futuristic style that I always dreamt about. So design, beautiful design. It has what they call a infinity display, so it kind of wraps around the sides, and you've got glass on the front, you've got glass on the back. It just looks really, really slick. And I'm a fan of the all black. They do various colours, but for me, I go with all black on pretty much every single phone I get. Got the all black on that, the iPhone, all black as well. What else can we talk about on the screen? Yeah, I suppose one other thing as well, on the different coloured variants, you will see they've kept the black face, so I think there's like a grey, orchid grey. I think there's going to be a platinum gold and a silver, but the colour variants, they just have a different colour back, and actually the front is the black, and I think they've done that because it just makes it look cooler. If you look at the red iPhone that came out recently with a white front, again, my personal opinion, don't want to offend anybody, but the white just doesn't, for me, just doesn't look right. It looks kind of a bit of a mismatch, whereas I think the black front makes it look just that little bit kind of more polished. So I highly suggest, if you haven't got your hands on one of these already, just to kind of have a play about, go to your nearest kind of local store that does have them on display, and just have a feel of the device. I'd even probably go as far as just asking the store advisor if they've got one that's not in a kind of bracket, in a cradle, just so you can kind of get the feel of it, because it just feels feels beautiful, even nicer than what the S7 Edge felt like. It almost seems like they've kind of perfected that kind of design. I have experienced this before. Going back to last year, end of last year, I had a Note 7 for all of 2 weeks. Rest in peace. And really loved the phone. Really had a good experience with it. Didn't have any issues with it. Sent it back obviously with the mass recall, and then obviously that became a permanent fixture. So I felt that had the exact same kind of design aesthetics, how they'd kind of moulded the screen into the actual chassis itself. So yeah, so I have experienced it before on a previous Samsung phone. Again, preference for me is that this stands out. It's one that you put on the side and people would probably go, okay, what's that? So I really like the design of the S8. The next thing for me is software. So this was more of a tricky area because like I said, I've been a iOS user for a long while. I have used Android alongside with various different jobs I've had. My work phone 9 times out of 10 has been an Android device, so I've kind of used them in conjunction with each other, but primarily I've been using iOS for a very long time. I've never really kind of brought in 100% of the ecosystem, and what I mean by that is kind of the Apple Music and only buying content from Apple areas. I've kind of, my music's always been via Spotify, so I can use any phone, which has kind of helped me. And things like photos, I've always kind of used Google Photos forever. I've never really brought into the iCloud storage system. I've always used other variants in the past, Dropbox. Like I said, now more than ever, Google services. So I suppose the one key area where I've always really banged on about iOS is it's always felt really clean and really consistent in terms of how it operates. It's always seemed really fast. It's always seemed really fluid. Thinking back to every single Android phone I've ever owned, and even Samsung phones, there's always been a kind of, it starts off really well and then it kind of lags kind of a little bit later on down the line. Now that's kind of, I think that's down to the optimization of each manufacturer, because they, I believe, put a different skin on top of Android. Again, I'm not a tech reviewer, so I don't know the complete ins and outs, but my understanding is a skin goes on top of what is vanilla Android and they customize it and build it how they want. So with that, you're going to get different inconsistencies and different experiences. So I understand why that is. Plus, obviously Android is open source versus iOS, so Apple completely control the experience of this, whereas this is kind of, there is an element of control, but the ultimate kind of operating system itself can be manipulated by pretty much anybody. And again, going back to my point, in the past this has always felt like a more cohesive, finished product. Now, last year, 2016, can't tell you exactly when because I don't know the exact date, but I got my first hands-on with the latest version of Android being 7.1.2 or Nougat, which is immense. Like, I really enjoy it. And in fact, it was on a Google Pixel when I first used it, and it was just, I don't want to use this comparison, but it felt like iOS, which is really weird because it's not. And it just felt clean, it just felt really well done, it felt polished, and it was snappy, it was really speedy as well. So again, software, really good. Even though the software on this is not the same on the Google Pixel that I used, still very snappy. Samsung's have added some quite cool little features. One thing I've noticed with every Samsung phone I've ever owned is the settings within settings. I mean, like, it's ridiculous. There's so many settings. Half of them I won't use as a consumer. Some of you may love it, some of you may not. May be like, great, so many settings. But for me, again, the simple basic settings, I'm good with that. But I suppose having the option there is quite a nice touch. and that's one thing that the stock Android that I used before didn't have. It didn't have all those kind of settings. I may be wrong now. Like I said, this is not my my forte. I'm just kind of trying to give you what my experience has been. So yes, really loving the software. It's really clean. It's really polished. One thing I will always say about Android, even though I just mentioned about the fact that iOS has always previously felt more finished and more polished, and Android has suffered from lag, in my opinion. Android is far, far smarter than iOS. I'm trying to think of an example of how I mean by that. Okay, let's take notifications for example. So on my iPhone, when I get notifications, if I get 10 notifications and it's a combination of Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, whatever, my notifications are listed in the order that they come in. So I have to kind of scroll up and down, and I may have one Snapchat at the top, and then 2 in the middle, and then 1 at the bottom, which is really, really inconsistent. On Android, it's almost like a brand new deck of cards. I get those same 10 notifications on Android, and all of the WhatsApp are together, all of the Facebook messages are together, all of the Snapchats together. So it's just smarter. It's just, and there's loads of little examples like that throughout the whole kind of ecosystem. So I'm definitely a big fan of Android. Straight up Android versus iOS. It's just that I've always had a previously better experience with iOS. Not so at the minute, so I'm firmly in the Android camp. So the software is a little bit different. Obviously, it's a newer version or the latest version of Android, I believe, or one of the latest versions of Android. Apologies, I don't know the complete ins and outs with the different versions and stuff. But one thing I've noticed on this is on previous kind of like phones, Android phones that I've used before, kind of you could press and hold the icon and then you kind of like swipe it up and remove it. But this kind of like, I'll see if I can get it to do it. If you press and hold on it, there you go. You kind of get this option just here. So you no longer have the option to kind of swipe it up and remove it, but you can uninstall it from here. You can remove the shortcut. You can select multiple items. That's pretty cool. Selecting multiple items, that's really, really good, because it means you can move a block load of apps all at one time, which is pretty cool. And then you can get the information about it, and you can also disable it as well. So that's changed. That's something that's different. It's something that's new. The other new thing, software-wise, is, I don't know if this is going to work, but when you want to kind of, there's no like app drawer anymore, but when you want to kind of get to the apps, you just swipe. But you can just keep swiping up, or you can swipe down, and it's kind of like a continuous reel. That makes sense? So something that's new, something that's different. You've still got your notifications, and you've still got, let's find, you've still got hundreds of settings. That's one thing Samsung do a lot of. They do a lot of settings. Good, bad. Hey, I suppose it appeals to everybody that way. But if you need them, you can use them. If you don't need them, don't use them. Really simple. So, other than that, it's quite the same as most kind of versions of Android. Like I said, there's a few little tweaks here and there. The notification tray is a little bit more polished, a little bit more tidy, a little bit cleaner. There's a few extra things like performance mode. So when you first get this phone, it's not at the highest performance mode, if that makes sense. And it's not at its highest. Let's have a look. Performance mode. It's going to make sense. There you go. So if you hit performance mode, then it gives you these different kind of options. So game, entertainment, high performance, and optimised. I've left mine in optimised. I haven't really messed with it. I may change it just to see if it has any effect. So I may put it in high performance just to see if it has any effect on battery life, which I assume it will, or if it just has any effect in general, if I notice any kind of speed differences. But I've left mine in optimised, but you've got the option there, so that's pretty cool. What else have we got software wise that I've been using? I think that's it. There's hundreds, like I said, of different options within the phone, and there's so many different kind of settings. It's worth exploring. Like I said, I've only had it a week, so I haven't used everything yet, and I'm still kind of finding things out. But if you do have any questions, just pop them in the comments, and I'll happily check some out for you and see what it does or what it is, or try and answer any kind of questions you guys have got. Cool. So one thing I had to do when I got this in regards to the display is the screen resolution is not set to maximum. So if I go in, so it's set at 1080p when you first. So if I go in, if you can see that. So when you first get the phone, that's what it's set to, and I had to actually set it to WQHD to get the maximum out of it. I like vibrant colours, I like sharpness, which is why I kind of immediately changed it. Whether Samsung have done that as a kind of fail-safe, I don't know. I know, I'm trying to think what other manufacturers, I think Sony used to do that back in the day, I don't know if they still do, but yeah, it just seemed a bit strange. So make sure if you do buy one of these and you want to benefit from that maximum display, just click on WQHD and just enable that, hit apply, and away you go. You've got the full resolution benefits then, which is cool. So I was never a big fan of the S6, S7 Edge features. The only ones, and you can add different things. There's a store, you can add different kind of like options to the Edge display. The only ones I've activated on mine are the Smart Select stuff. So I don't know if you can see that there, but basically you get kind of you can create your own GIFs. You can do snapshots, whether it be a rectangle screenshots, whether it be a rectangle screenshot or an oval screenshot, and then you can pin things to the top where you just pin it to the main screen. So you've got a few options there. That's probably going to be the most useful for me at the minute. Again, I will play about with it probably later on, but again, it's never, when I had an S7 Edge, I think I used the Edge features once and then didn't use them again. So as much as I like the look of the Edge display, I'm not fully brought into the Edge features. But again, that's just me. For some of you, you may love them and you may use them every day, but that's cool. They're there, so it's good to know that they're there, which is good. So yeah, that's the software. That's the reason why I think the software on this is a lot better. The next thing for me is battery. So battery's a strange one. I believe, I don't know the exact battery size in the iPhone 7 Plus. I believe it's bigger than what's in the S8, the standard S8. Needless to say, I'm getting around about the same time. I use it, I get a day's worth out of it, or just short of a day. And yeah, I class myself as a kind of average user. I go to the gym, I use Spotify throughout the day. I watch a couple of YouTube videos, general kind of videos from either Facebook stories, again Snapchat, Instagram, posts, uploads, Twitter, and then just things like WhatsApp and stuff like that. So kind of, I'd say I'm an average user. So if it gets me through the day, that's good. Great thing about this device is that it's actually got quick charging, and it is ridiculously quick, which is really, really good. So I'm really happy about that. Needless to say, this didn't officially have quick charging, but it charged okay. But in comparison, this absolutely blows it away. So So let's talk about the camera. I haven't taken loads and loads of pictures with this as yet. I've taken a few just to kind of see what it's like. What I might do actually is I might take a couple today and then import them into the video, so by the time you're watching this now, then they'll come up. Yeah, I'll do that. So I'll take a few snaps. I'll take a few snaps with this, and I'll take a few snaps with this, and then you guys can kind of have a look and see what you think's the best. I've always thought personally Samsung cameras are a little bit better. I like the colours that pop. Again, obviously the screen display adds to that, because when you're viewing it back on the screen, more vibrant colours, a bit more saturated. I've always liked those kind of vibrant colours. Samsung always give you a lot of options when it comes to the camera. That hasn't changed. That's exactly the same. You know, you go into settings, and I don't know if you can see that, there's a multitude of different options and displays and things. They've added a few kind of random things, which is this kind of, they've added these weird kind of like Snapchat style filters, which is not necessarily my thing, but hey, people may love it. Again, so many different spotlight, slim face, large eye, got selfie options. The front facing camera's changed. That's now a better quality than what it was on the S7 Edge, I believe. And this is the other option. So I didn't really want to mention this bit, but it's within the camera option as well. This thing called Bixby. It's basically Samsung's kind of AI. My honest opinion is, and this is no disrespect to Samsung, but it's not finished, so I suppose I can't really give an honest opinion on it, but I tried using a bit of it. It's got this Bixby Vision, which basically means that you can take a picture of something and it will then identify it, and then it will give you kind of web links. Again, it's very, very kind of like half-baked, seems very kind of last minute, so yeah, I'm not going to be too hard on them in regards to that, because like I said, it's not finished, so I'll wait until it's finished, and then who knows, maybe I'll upload another video and kind of give you guys an insight on what I think of that. But the camera's good. So like I really, you know, I prefer it to the iPhone. I prefer it to, it's probably the best camera I've ever had on any device. Again, like I said, you've got loads of options. There's no camera bump, which is cool. It's flush. That's always a nice touch. That's one thing that annoyed me on the iPhone a little bit. Kind of, you know, you've got that dual camera there, but it's just, it is what it is. So it's really easy to kind of activate the camera on this. You just literally double tap the power button and it goes straight into the camera. As always, you've got a multitude of different options. You've got, as you can see, all your different filters. You have got all these options as well, and I think you can download some more in typical Samsung fashion. I haven't really taken many pictures. I will probably take a few images and get them added in. You've got HDR, flash, again, more settings, autofocus, tracking autofocus, shape correction, so there's loads. Like I said, I've not really had a proper play about with it, but yeah, the first few images they've taken have been really good, so I'm really pleased with the camera so far. I'll try and put it through its paces and take a few images versus my iPhone and just see what kind of differences we get, and I'll post them and see what you guys think. If there is anything you want to know, reference the camera, again, leave a comment below, and I'll get back to you with the answer, hopefully. So I hope that's been beneficial for some of you guys. I'm not a tech reviewer in any way, shape or form, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys a view on this from an iPhone user's perspective, or a former iPhone user's perspective, tell you why I've gone for this, and why I think it's potentially one of the best phones out there. So thanks for watching, tune in, and please leave a comment below. Cheers.